When you hold my hands, you make it so special. With you it's so much better. I cannot believe how much you're so in love with me. Say, will I leave you? Never. You ain't got to worry. We belong together. Everything will be alright.
Hi, Ruby.
Hi, Paula.
We've been waiting for you.
Girl, me too.
You've kept us waiting for a long time.
I'm sorry, but you know what? I'm back now.
You
I'm here.
are, and we're excited.
I'm happy. I feel so grateful, truly. You know, let me tell you, it's been a minute, right? I mean, 2018 was the last time I dropped music, and to think that people still care. You know, we live in a fast-paced world.
Yeah.
People are living their lives, moving on, and to think that there's people. In fact, what humbled me is I would go on social media and just do some stuff. They'd be like, when is the album coming back? When is?
Like,
oh yeah, at a point, it was like, give us one song. We'll manage
You're doing
it.
something completely different.
Yes.
And it's like, where's the album?
Where's the album? I'm like, guys. So at the point, I even stopped posting because I got tired. But at the
Yes.
same time, it's like a blessing.
Because you've gone on to do so many other amazing things.
Yeah.
We got the talk show, we
Yes.
have the foundation.
Yes.
Like, you're really doing the thing, right?
Mhm.
And music is one of the things which
Yes.
we love, but I also love the fact that you're doing so many other things.
Absolutely. Do you know, Ba, it's interesting. I remember if you asked me pre-2018, maybe 2016, Ruby, if you're not an artist, what do you want to be? I'm like, all I want to be is an artist. Okay, it's my passion, it's my dream. But then here I am, just expanding after a point, and I'm grateful. Truly, I'm going to use that word a lot, grateful, because I think not many people get to do what I've been able to do, being able to segue from being an artist to I did theater. I performed at the musical. I sang, dance. Yes. You
Wow.
know. Then after that, I did a talent competition because I'm passionate about young creatives. Then from there, the talk show happened, and then now I'm back to music, my first love. After my daughter, of course, I have to say that.
Which has a whole song explaining that.
Yes.
I want to hear that story.
Uh-huh.
But before we go in, right, what did you expect this project to do?
So I remember when I went into the studio with the producer, and when I say studio, I mean first conversations. It was like, Ruby, we're not going to make music just yet. I want to talk to you. You know, his name is Reinhard, and he's known me for a while. We've known each other for maybe almost 10 years now. I know a bit of your story. I know a lot of what you've gone through. I've seen you go through pain, triumphs. I've seen you go through stuff. We need you to talk about these things. I was like, what? He's like, yes. What your stories can heal, they can help. They can tell people that they're not alone. And that was really what I hoped he would do. So for the first time, I can say that was the most vulnerable that I've ever been. And my hope was just let it just resonate. Even if it's one person, I'm happy. So it's looking like...
It's definitely more than one person because I was listening to the album and I remember sitting at my desk and I just felt seen, right?
Wow.
I felt seen and I could see so many other women that I knew in the songs that you were singing.
That's awesome.
So you definitely got that right.
Yay.
So let's take these songs one at a time,
Okay.
right? One of the songs that reminded me of my mom was Mama. And it was like just the experience of the woman,
Yes,
right?
yes.
While our own people may not have experienced abuse, we all know a neighbor, a family friend,
Yes.
somebody whose stuff is hush-hush, but we all
Yes,
know
very
they're
true.
going through abuse. So what made you sing Mama?
Let me just start by saying that abuse is not something that should be taken lightly or anything. And I don't want to seem like I'm downplaying the experience women go through. However, I came from the perspective of just seeing women who have been through abuse, physical, emotional, financial, mental abuse, and who somehow have been able to come through it and maintain a loving, just a kind disposition. You know, I've also seen those who became bitter, and it's understandable. But when I just looked at, some of the women I know who went through it, I just had to just honor them through this song and be like, wow, it's incredible that you could go through this terrible, terrible thing. Something that you were not, is never what you're supposed to have gone through in a relationship, but somehow look at you, just still beautiful and resilient. And that's really what inspired, the song. So it's celebrating mothers, it's celebrating women, and it's just saying, I see you, and I want to, if you want to do something that lasts, you can write a book, you can plant a tree, I think you can also write a song. So
Definitely,
yes.
definitely.
And I feel like this can be the modern day My Sweet Mother song, you know, because
Yeah.
we're in a culture that doesn't necessarily emote well, but we emote indirectly. So for a lot of people that want to celebrate their moms, particularly the guys, this is a way to be like, mama, something in you that's rare. So that's really, in a nutshell, because I can go on and on, but that's it.
Because for a lot of women, once you can be as weak as anything, but once children get into the picture, you find a strength that you did not know you had.
Preach, that is it. That's the word. That is the word.
In writing Mama, what emotions were the hardest to confront? Because that song is very emotional. There's a lot of feeling in the song, right? What did it remind you of or make you feel that might have been uncomfortable at first, but you had to face?
I think for me, it's just kind of the waste is, I'm trying to find, I would say waste, the waste of a woman's time, the waste of her potential, the waste of just who she could be if she was not in that experience, if she didn't have to go through through that experience. It's just confronting that. But I guess for me, the glass is always half full. So I'm like, how can we look at it from a different light and see, I use this word carefully, positives, in the situation.
Okay. And like you said, we witness it, right? These things, they are witnesses. People see what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, in seeing what's going on, how did it shape your views on love, on relationships, and self-worth?
Man, it was tough. When, seeing women go through, at a point I became militant. I was like, me. That they will be beating me. That they will be what? I would do. In fact,
so you're on defensive already.
See, there was one part I was like, I'm going to even learn martial arts so I can beat. What started happening was I realized I would have become an abuser myself. Yes, because that's what can happen.
Avoid it.
In trying to avoid that, I'm like, I will not be that person. I will not be. But that's something I had to confront about myself. And it definitely is something that made me wary of relationships in terms of settling down, because I was just like, listen, they want to try me. But yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, for somebody who is listening to this song and thinking, oh, it's great that these women got out, it's great that they overcame, but I'm still in it, right? What do you have to say to somebody like that?
I'm going to say this, and I want to say this, and say it with the most care and soberness. I want them to know that you have hope. That this is not your end. It doesn't have to be your end. And there is a way out. I cannot speak to everybody right now in this situation, but there's a possibility, there's a future, a better future for you. I cannot express exactly what it might mean to each and everyone. Everyone has their own, but there is hope. There's a way out.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
So I was just watching you and Jade right now, and I'm like, I want my mommy and I want her now.
We never not need them. You never outgrow. We are not just mother, mommy.
And that is the same feeling I felt when I was listening to Real Love. And because I already, had an idea of where you were writing from, it just made me feel like this is what a relationship with your mom should be like, your mommy, right? So what were you feeling when you were writing this?
I love telling this story, and Jade hates it, but I'm going to tell it. When I got pregnant, right, the first thing I was like, this baby is not staying. I'm not keeping this child. Nah. It's going to cramp my style. I have things to do, the future to live for. Everything was done. We went to the doctors, we got our money. When they told us we had 6K, we went there. But by the time we went there, paid for consultation fee and everything, we're short by I think half the money. So we had to go and now start hustling money for that one. I mean, we're like, well, how 2019? What do we know? What money did we have? Anyways, between that period, I remember my mom calling me and saying, hey, you're pregnant, do you understand? But keep this child. I'll be here for you. I'll help you take care of the child. Do you know what I told her? I'll think about it. Hey, God. Even as I'm thinking. She was just looking at me like, I was like, I'll think about it. So the hustling was not working, which we tried, days were going by. Then eventually I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. let me just do it. So we went back. Myself, another friend of mine, my then baby daddy, went to the doctor. And we're like, we don't want to do this anymore. I was okay. And I said, can we have our money back? So this is 2004. So we go there, he grudgingly, he's upset. He gives us the money. Rats! He gave us back the money and we took the money, and then Mr. Biggs had then just come out in jail. So we took the money and we went and we ate rice and chicken and we just enjoyed. We basically had a party. So that basically is the story. And then when I was sitting down with the producer and now thinking about it, he said, we wrote this line. He said, how could I think of training you for 6,000 naira when I think about my daughter? Now, when I think about the gift that she's to me, I'm just like, hey, God, I would have missed out 6K. It's what, so I'm so grateful.
Chicken and rice.
I'm so grateful I'm just grateful for that. And I'm also grateful because I know not many people have the opportunity that I had, in that they had the support system. People that are telling you, no, we'll be there for you. Just do this, So I know that not everybody gets to have that. And that, for a lot of people, is a big reason why they don't want to. Also, the stigma. I went through, I was George, I was singing in George, the whole shebang. But just having my family, my mom, my dad, my siblings, everybody just rallying around me and saying, listen, we got you. We got you and your baby. So it's real love.
Okay.
Real love.
Now, you've described your daughter, Jade, as your soulmate.
Yes.
How has she transformed your perspective on love and purpose?
Before I used to think that a soulmate had to be a romantic relationship. But it's just really someone that you truly love and you just have this deep connection with. From since she was a baby, we just had this special bond that I think is and I think you can relate to that as well. Having there's just something different about a mother and a child in a single mom and their child. Is just I feel there's like a more intense.
It's really just the two of you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So for me, it's truly that we truly have that bond. And she's come and it's changed my life. It's changed my perspective. It changed how I saw myself. I used to be a very flighty child, just very creative, head in the sky. It grounded me. It gave me a greater sense of purpose. It gave me a greater desire to succeed and to be better, because I said, I have someone looking at me. I have to be the best possible example. Not a perfect one, but the best possible example that I can be.
That's the best that you can be.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
Now, touching on single motherhood, right? And it's something that we have had a conversation about because we're on both sides.
Different sides of the coin.
Sides of the coin, right?
Yes.
It takes an incredible level of sacrifice to be both parents to a child, to be a single mom, right? And you're now in an industry that is, I can't find the words for it.
It's a lot.
Right? It's a lot.
Yes.
What has been your biggest challenges, right? Because there are people out there that are talented. There are women that are talented and have so much to offer, but cannot see a way to break into that industry because they've got kids.
Absolutely.
So what was your challenge and how did you overcome them?
The biggest challenge was being away from my daughter for a period, because when I went to Lagos and I was, pushing, I didn't have a stable environment, and anyone that's a parent knows that a child needs a stable environment. So I didn't have that, and God bless my mom, who said, you know what, just go, I'll help you with this. So, but that was hard. There was the guilt I always felt, when I had to be away from her. There was I always felt torn between two places, where I was in Lagos and my daughter being back home in Jos. So that was very, very hard. However, I said to myself, if I want to tell my daughter, go ahead and follow your dreams, you can do it, then let me set that example for her. Let me set that example. Let me show her what it means. I wanted to be a singer since I was age 5. I knew that, and I got the opportunity to do that. So I wanted to show her that you too as well can do it, and you are deserving of that. So that's what I would say. It's gonna be tough. There might be times of separation, but also if you go after your dreams, it's just such a powerful example. I mentioned that thing about being an example for your daughter or your son, whoever, that you should do that too.
Okay. Now, my next question was really going to be twofold. What do you have to say to the mothers who are currently feeling guilty? But I think you just answered that. Now, what do you have to say to the daughters who have mothers pursuing dreams?
Yeah.
because they must be feeling something, and this song is for them as well, right?
Yeah.
So what do you have to say to the daughters?
I would say that I understand that it's tough. You miss your mom and you miss time with her. But at the same time, even as you as a daughter have dreams, your mom too has her dreams. And she will be an even better mom if she gets to fulfill her dreams. Yeah, there'll be just... So when I think about it and I look at my daughter and I see how she looks at me when I'm doing my work and I'm doing my thing, I see the pride and I see the joy. You know, your mom deserves that too. Pastor Fred was just like, you know what?
Okay,
No.
you can see his face. So, fear.
Yeah.
Hello, fear. Goodbye, fear.
Mm-hmm.
What is this fear you're talking about?
So, you know, I learned that the strongest emotion is love. Strongest positive emotion is love. And the strongest negative emotion is not hate, it's fear. And it just has its various expressions, whether it's anxiety or worry, or it comes from, that's the root of it. When I had my daughter, I started becoming moody. I was sad. You know, I struggled in school. I couldn't learn. I would look at the board and it was blank. You know, I'll be in class, so exam will come. I used to sleep in class. My mates to come, like I lacked, you know, motivation. I lacked. Fast forward a few years later, you know, we're talking 2013 rolls in, and I'm in my house. But I would sit down, I would feel like I was descending into a dark world. Like my mind, I'm just there, but my mind, I'm descending, and the light is going out, and eventually it's pure darkness. So I'm looking at you, but I can't see anything. It's dark. The world is dark to me. And then I just started having, I would have suicidal thoughts. My mind was unfocused. I just felt fractured inside. I was ill all the time. I would have heart palpitations. I'm just giving you a background of all these things. I was always just deeply sad. I mean, people just thought, oh, Ruby's moody. I was like, I'm a moody person. Then I go back home and I see our family doctor, and he runs a battery of tests, and it's like, I don't have high blood pressure, I don't have ulcer, I don't have hypertension. Then he realized something. He said, you're depressed, you know. And let me even rewind a bit. He gave me a list of pills to take, and I went to the pharmacist and I gave it to him. I looked through, I was like, okay, malaria, this one, typhoid. Then he looked, he said, Auntie, is this drug for you? I said, yeah. He looked again, he said, are you sure? I said, yeah. So he gave me grudgingly, but a doctor had prescribed it, he saw everything. So I took it and I called the doctor. I was like, I got the drugs, but when I mentioned this, like, yeah, you're depressed, it's an antidepressant. That was the first time in almost 10 years that someone correctly diagnosed that I was depressed. That was when I knew that was what was disturbing me.
So you had it for 10 years.
I didn't know. I just thought I was moody. I just thought that's who I was, right? But somehow, you know, you function. Like you said, when you have a kid, you figure yourself out. But it was tough. It was hard. Remember at that time, I lost my voice. So I went to meet my voice coach. I was like, train me. He said, Ruby, you're sad. Of course you can't sing. You know, so one day I was just kind of online, just Googling stuff. And he said, depression is a spirit, and it must be fought with the word of God. I say, I have my answer. And I remember sitting down, and I'll just go through Bible verses. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper and not to harm you. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. And that's what, you know, people have their various ways on which they say you can deal with depression. For me, it was the word of God. Now, when I knew I was sitting at home, and I just felt something seize me. Die, kill yourself. Because I would be at home. I missed to say, I forgot saying, I would be at the floor rolling on the ground. Thoughts, kill yourself, die, you're useless, you're this. I'll be rolling on the ground quietly. My daughter is on the bed and I'll be screaming in my mind.
Because you can't scream out loud.
So, sorry, be more. And so this day, I was sitting at home and I felt something seize me and I started to tremble. So I ran and I picked up my book where I wrote these Bible verses and I started to speak them out, and it lifted. And then that's when I knew there was a separate entity from me, you know, harassing me. So I kept building myself, you know. And this particular day, I felt it come. And I sat up and I said, if I slap you, And I felt the thing turn tail and run off. And that's when I can truly say I was free. Now, do negative thoughts come sometimes? But I know I can deal with them. I know what to. And truly, I could say that's where the line came. So when I started thinking of the song and trying to express it and talk about it, I realized that it was just, I likened it to just this relationship with this very toxic relationship, and you try and get out of it and you can't, and you think you have left, but you keep going back. But then one day, God in his mercy just said, you know what, I will help you. And he picked me up and pulled me out of that dark pit. That's what I could say. Goodbye, old friend. Goodbye, fear. Goodbye, depression. That's the story.
I think that's the bulk of it. I just have one more question to ask. If you saw that old friend right now, what would you say to it?
I will give it hot slap. Truly, like, there's a line that says, you said I'll never fly, didn't recognize. It was you all the while feeding me the lies. I'm done with that. No more me and you. The phrase is good riddance to you. That's what I would say. Right. Good riddance to you. And just one thing before I go. Depression is not, in my humble opinion, it's not something you say, I'm depressed. Don't hold. It's a terrible, horrible, life-destroying thing. I'm just fortunate that I had my faith to keep me going and to get me out of it. But it's just not something that you should just accept, because it's a life stealer. It's a waster, so that's what I'll just say.
All right. That's a wrap for fear. All right. So much more.
Yeah.
I think as an African woman singing this song, you have spoken the silent thoughts of many women in this society.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I'm beautiful, I'm full of life, I'm vibrant, I'm so much more. But they didn't have any way to say it. I mean, if you put a billboard and say so much more, not many people understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you said it, right? Why?
So, I was a very active child, very active, climbing trees, doing the most. And as I grew older and hit my teenage stage, I started gaining weight, it just became a struggle. So I had a yo-yo, I would do the extremes. And eventually, I stabled out and I was feeling babe shows. Then one day the weight just said, well, we're not going. So it was tough, just getting used to. Then I happened to be in a space an industry where everywhere you went, that conversation is always happening. Whether it was people at my label, whether it was just people, you're getting feedback about opportunities you missed because you're not a certain size, This was before being thick was, the Kim Kardashian gave that. You had to be like that. So that was it. Definitely now. I'm someone who has strong self-esteem, shout out to my parents for really building that in me. But when you go to a space and that's what you're constantly hearing, I started, body dysmorphia became a real thing. When I look back at those pictures, I was like, there was nothing wrong with me. So I realized that there's a phrase that came up. He said, beware the voices, right? And that is, be careful who you listen to. Because if they say something long enough and you keep listening to it, you become your reality.
You start to believe it.
You start to believe it and start to realize, what is going on here? Then another thing I also, I've always said it, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What I behold, I believe is a personal thing, not what you think of me. But when I look into the mirror, what I behold is beauty. So that's really what inspires so much more. Like, listen, I am more than. Now let me tell you, it's a struggle. It's not like every day I'm like, even today when I was upstairs trying out my outfits, I was like, oh my God, Jade was like, Mom, you're beautiful. I was like, leave me, I'm loving myself. But I believe it. I don't always believe it sometimes. Like, I don't always feel it. There's believing in is a conviction, then there's the feeling of it. So I don't always feel it, but I believe it, that I'm so much more. So for me, it's really, and it's tough. Social media has not helped us at all. You see, the standards of beauty keep changing. So one moment you're the it girl, the next thing, you're out. So if you're following trends, then you will suffer. Because you're giving people the power to control how you feel about yourself and how you see yourself. So you really have to take charge of that and say, I am so much more. I'm more than my body. I'm more than my failure. I'm more than my mistakes. I'm more than my color, I'm more than my dress size. I am so much more. Yeah.
I love it because many women struggle with self-love because of these societal standards.
Yes.
We go on social media and we see the edited version of people's lives, and it's like, that is what I'm supposed to be. That's what I'm working against, right? What advice would you give to those who find it hard to see their worth beyond how they look?
Well, you really have to. I'll start with social media. Mute, delete, block people. There are some things I see that trigger you. Remove those triggers. Like I said, beware the voices. Don't take yourself to places that make you feel. There's a quote that it says, "Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated." If they're not gassing you up, hyping you up, in that way, like, man, you're amazing, you're awesome, then don't be there. And if social media is such a place, then you might need to. Then also you need to just invest in yourself beyond your looks, because you know what, it will, over time, you will not look the same way you looked in your teens, your 20s. Aging is a real thing. But at the same time, if you focus more on your character, you focus more on your brains, you focus more on personality, that can be taken away from you. It's yours, so you definitely need to have something more lasting, to focus on.
And how does So Much More capture the essence of your self-acceptance journey? Because looking at you, your energy is beautiful. You are obviously embodying everything that you are, but it must have been a journey.
Still is, girl. And to me, this song is something I'm going to have to go back and be listening to for myself. There's a line, it says, I'm stronger than you think. I have nations in my energy. Do you understand? A mother gives birth to nations. You're so much more than you're just more.
You're just infinitely
more. And you can just keep getting better and better. It's like wine, you age. So it's something, even for me, I have to go and be reminding myself. So that song is for me as well, to remind myself that, hey, I am so much more. So.
The ladies that are young rarely have this kind of self-acceptance and self-awareness, but by virtue of this song, they will probably get the message much earlier than you did.
That's what I pray for. That's truly what I pray for.
So what would you tell them right now? I mean, you said most of it in the song, but do you have anything to add?
There's something that J-Lo says. So every day she wakes up in the mirror and she says, I am youthful and timeless. You have to speak it to create it. You must keep talking to yourself. And then you have to beware the voices. Anybody that is saying things that are cutting you, you have to learn to block them. Unfortunately, it might be people close to you, it might be. But your voice must be louder than any other voice. You must speak it, you must speak it, you must speak it till it becomes a conviction in you, And you have to, like I said before, you have to really invest in other parts outside of just looks. Very, very key.
All right.
Awesome.
Free.
Yes.
Free. Now to round it up, the owner of the album.
Yes.
What are you free of that inspired this album?
A lot. I would say the most pivotal moment in my life definitely had to be when I got pregnant and dealing with betrayal from people that I thought were my friends, from people that I really looked up to, so it was very cutting. I didn't even realize that till much later, how much of a wound it was for me, and how much pain I carried, and unforgiveness and resentment. And there's a quote I saw, I'm big on quotes, I love them. It was a quote I saw, it says, unforgiveness is like swallowing poison and wanting the other person to feel it. Unforgiveness is a poison and it will kill you. And I realized that I had to just let go. I had to let go. One of such people that deeply wounded me, I remember this person came back and started to apologize and started to point out things. The interesting thing I found out was that as the person was apologizing, I looked inside my soul and I realized I had let it go a long time ago. I didn't even know, that the work I'd been doing for so long was actually, and it's then that I came to the awareness of the lightness that I felt inside of me, I realized that, man, I'm truly actually free and I can move on, because unforgiveness will keep you tied to the past. So if you want to move forward, You have to let that, you have to drop that weight. If you want to climb higher, it's almost like gravity and wanting to break through space. You have to just let that go. And that really, so the first line of the chorus, who would have thought that I would feel this better? Who would, like, forgiveness really is better than, than unforgiveness or hate. So, absolutely.
I get the sense that Free is a deeply personal song. It happened, right? It is a lot of it happened in the song.
Yes.
Was there a specific moment that made you realize you had to start working on letting it go?
I think a time definitely had to be with when I parted ways with my label, right? And as I was looking at it, there was a lot of, like, I won't use the word bad blood, but just a lot of unmet expectations, just a lot of feeling like, man, all this time and effort, all this loyalty, what did he do for me? What did it? And a friend of mine called me and said, Ruby, what you have in front of you is so much greater than what you're living. I'm like, I beg, you don't understand. Now looking, who would have thought that there was a talk show ahead of me? Yeah. There was a talent competition. There were all these things. And there was this music. There was this music to give birth to. And there was, my own company, my own entertainment and media company under which I'm doing just awesome stuff under. Who would have thought? But if I kept holding on to that, I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation and being this version of me that I am. So truly letting go was just the beginning, was just the beginning of just this phase of life that I'm in now.
This phase. While you were holding on, right? While you were holding on, what did it take from you? How did the pain, right, affect your creativity and your music? And
man, it took it away because I couldn't see past it. I couldn't see, and I'm a very creative person. I'm big on ideas, but I was just stuck. It just felt like I was in a bog and I could not really, the more I tried to get out of it, and I did not know that it just really had to do with letting go. If you're in a bog and you're struggling, you're going to sink. But if you just stay, help can come for you and can be pulled out of it, So once I just let it go and just say, you know what, just leave it. Just free it. There's more ahead, there's better ahead. That was just the way.
Now, it's easy to say let it go, right? It's easy to say, especially when you've already managed to do that. Yes. But when the thing is still paining you, like when the betrayal is still fresh, or like when the hurt is still hot. What would you say to somebody that's feeling really hurt right now?
I would say don't deny it. Go through your stages of grief. Go through the denial. I can't believe it. You go through the anger. To hell with them. Go through negotiation. Man, are you sure we can't work this out? Go through the stages of grief. Because if you don't, you're stunted. You see, but one thing about trauma is that if you don't heal from it, it leaves a wound. And it keeps attracting the same experience over and over again. That's the thing people don't understand. You just keep reliving that experience. So go through it, just express, emote. I'm just so grateful for my friends and my family that were dead that would just lament. And sometimes they'll be like, well, thank God for them. Well, I've heard this before, okay. But they were patient with me, but they kept speaking words. Ruby, there's more ahead, there's more ahead, there's more ahead. So just go through it, but don't stay there. Because also, there's a thing about feeling bad for yourself and feeling sorry. It's nice. It's a nice feeling.
It's comforting.
It's comforting, but it means you don't have to take responsibility for your future. It also means you don't have to take responsibility for how you respond to this situation, right? So, man, for your own destiny, leave that thing.
Let it go.
Let it go. There's truly more ahead always. The next version, better version of you, just has to. It's kind of like the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. Yes, but you have to go into that cocoon and then, yeah.
And I imagine that it is the butterfly version of you that decided this was going to be the name of the album.
Absolutely. It's when I think of it's just bright colors, it's just free, it's just nature, it's just fun, And I said, yeah, I'm talking about heavy stuff, but I want to talk about it in a triumphant way, not like, no. I want to talk about like what's there, went through, and I'm happy to be out. Won. Exactly. So I'm not a survivor.
Yeah, I won.
I won. I'm a winner. I'm a winner.
All right, and that is the wrap.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to say to the guys?
Definitely. Do I have anything to say to the guys? I do. Do you know, interestingly, all my career, my fan base has been overwhelmingly male. If you check my insights, 70% more, 30%. So I wanted to do something. I always said, I need to connect with them. What can I do? Then I said, okay, if I tell my stories, I will say something for the men. There are men that undergoing abuse. There are men that are, I would say, particularly when it comes to fear or depression or mental health, I would say that to the men, I want to say to you that I see you and I hear you. I know that the reality of being a man is tough. And it's something that many, very, very few women will ever understand. The pressures and the silent pain and the crying you have to go through. Living in a society that does not allow you to emote. As a woman, I could cry, I'm like, oh my God. And people are like, oh. But as a guy, you're weak, you're this, you're that. But I will say to you that I see you, I celebrate you, and I love you.
I've been searching for the words to say. It took me quite a while. Took me some time to phrase it. Back and forth in my mind. Too many noises in there. Now I feel so much better. Apologies accepted. I'm feeling